Let's get it. Let's get the show on the roll. Let's get the energy up in here. Let's get the energy up. You know. What's poppin', everybody? Welcome to another episode of the 1% Better Show.
We are back in the building.
Yeah, we back in the building. Yo, I am your host, Mr. J Hill. What's going on, everybody?
I am Mr. Alexander Blanc. Out of the Mr. too.
I don't know what that was.
That was crazy.
You want to be my son?
Whoa, that's how we started this energy. This
hey,
episode?
Bro, you just said you are Mr. I never heard that before.
I can't be a Mister.
No, you can be.
I thought I was born a Mister.
I mean, I don't know if you want to be a miss. With the way the world is going on today,
space.
The way the world is going on, you could be whatever you want.
You could be nothing. Actually, if you want to be nothing, you can be nothing too.
You can be nothing. So I'm not getting into that. You want me to be Mrs. Alexander Blanc?
I'm Alexander Blanc. Welcome to
the 1% Better Show. Yo, thank you for everybody that support the show. Thank you for all the new and returning subscribers of the show. If you would like to support the show, please, right now, make sure you send a donation to one of these links below. We have Cash App, Zelle, and PayPal. You could just look at the names below, send it to us. Send a note so we can know who sent it, and we can shout you out on the show. Mm-hmm. We appreciate all of the love and the support. We're going to continue to have these great conversations. But please, make sure you tell somebody to subscribe. Make sure you tell somebody to watch the show. And just keep supporting us. We appreciate it. And we're going to keep going.
Yes, sir.
What up, baby? Yo, this weekend was, the weekend ain't even over yet.
First of all.
Uh-oh.
No, sir. You're not about to just speed by. You had a very important milestone this week.
Oh, yeah, my birthday.
Yeah. It's like,
forgot,
what?
Man. It's like the days just don't stop.
They just keep going.
The days don't stop. They keep going. Yeah.
What's it?
They say horses don't stop. They keep going.
Hey, bro, that might...
Horses don't stop.
That might be the greatest song. I ain't gonna lie to you.
I'm a horse. You ever the girl? You ever hear the girl that be like, they about to go see a man about a horse? Yeah, they talking about me.
Energy is just
we gotta get the energy up, man.
It's crazy today.
We gotta get the energy up, man.
Oh my God.
I'm the man about the horse they be talking about.
You know what?
They say horses don't stop; they keep going.
It's your season right now.
Yeah, it's my season, man.
It is your season. Mm-hmm. Happy belated birthday, my brother.
Yes, sir.
We need to put some like applause in the background and everything.
We don't need none of that.
You owe this.
Oh, that was good. Oh, that was good.
So let you know that.
Hey, I'm seasoned. I'm blessed. You know, I'm good to be 34.
Golly.
I ain't hiding from it. I ain't scared of you. I ain't scared of you. I ain't scared of you. None of you.
So yeah, I turned 34. I was like, damn.
Yeah.
That's a blessing. But that just reminded me I'm about to be 30.
I'm about to say, you about to be 30 tomorrow.
Type.
Talking about something. You about to hit that 3-0.
That's crazy.
Yeah, man. But nah, man, my birthday was great, bro. Thanks to the guys. Thanks to y'all. Birthdays don't hit the same when you single, bro.
Why?
Cause I feel like girls are so selfish. It works in our favor. Girls are so selfish; they make everything about them. Mm-hmm. So when it's your birthday, they make it about them too. So it's like, yeah, do all of that shit. Like they get to plan and stuff. That's the only time they do plans. And the other time, you be like, yo, what you want to eat? I don't know. But your birthday comes, let's do this, let's do that, let's do this. I need my birthday to be every day.
So that's the only time.
Nah, but I feel like I'm just joking. I feel like birthdays are it hit different when you're in a relationship, cause you want to, the girl want to do something, so cool, let's do it. It's funny, niggas be lying. Niggas be wanting to do things for their birthday, bro. Uh-huh. It's just never can muster up the energy to really plan it, right?
Yes, bro.
So whereas though you with your woman, she gonna plan let's do this, let's do that, let's do this. I'm like, all right, I'll pay for it.
All of that, yeah.
Whatever, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, don't let these be out here lying to y'all saying they don't care about their birthday. They care. Mm-hmm. They care. Mm-hmm. So if your man say he don't care, he cares. So you better not do nothing for him, because he gonna care and he gonna hold it near and dear to his heart. But yeah, so shout out to y'all, man, for real, man. My friends definitely showed up and showed out. Shout out to Morning After, man. I niggas show up all the time, bro.
Shout out to him, bro.
I be hating friends like that sometimes.
Why? Because you feel like you got to show up for them now?
Not even that. It just be like, God damn, slow down, bro.
I was sitting there watching. I'm like, this. And he wanted to go somewhere else after. I was like, what?
I'm like, bro, hold up, bro. There's always that just spread the bar a little farther and farther from the friendship. Like
every year,
bro. Like I'm trying to like I want to reciprocate. I ain't like he make it hard to reciprocate. Shout out to good friends.
just up the standard
Right,
every
like,
year. Like
damn,
hell,
bro.
do I catch up?
Right, like hold up, bro. Hold up. But I'm gonna get his ass. It's all good.
Hey, bro, look. It's just that one time.
Shout out to y'all, man. Y'all really helped me down, man, for real. On some
No,
real
but
stuff.
you look like you had fun this weekend.
I did. Like starting on my birthday. Like I really, bro. Shout out to 7 too. 7. Shout out to all of the people that care about the restaurants they pick. Cause I know I care. Like if I take somebody to a restaurant that's bad, I feel like that's dirt on my name. That's stain on my name. That's smut on my name. I don't like that. So like 7 had chose the restaurant to go to. 7 called me like, yo, what you doing on your birthday? I'm like, I don't even know, man. Marcus hit me. He said he want to do something. He's like, oh, I'm about to call him. I know exactly where we going. Hit him. Next thing you know, is going to Wagyu House.
Yeah.
Fire. You know I like that type of vibe. I'm like, bro, I could be in here every week, bro, for real, bro. Like, you been there? Fire, bro. Fire, bro.
It looked lit though.
It was fire.
And it looked like a place where, the joints go to take pictures. I see more than after take a picture. I was like, this.
It was fire. I'm not gonna lie. That was my type of vibe, bro. That was my type of vibe.
It reminds me of El Malo a little bit. Have you been to El Malo?
I've never been there before.
You've never been to El Malo yet?
Nah, I gotta get up. You know what I'm saying?
You haven't been to El Malo yet?
I've been out the game, man. I'm trying to get back in the game. Give me a break.
Bro, El Malo's a vibe, bro.
I've been out the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's diverse. It's very diverse, though.
Yeah, I've been out the game, man. I'm gonna get back in the game.
You was in your element yesterday, though.
Yo, shout out to everybody that went to the. I still don't know the exact name.
Hold on, let me.
Is it seersuckers and
I'm about
sundresses
to
or
look it up right
sundresses
now.
and seersuckers?
I'm about to look it up right now. Don't worry.
Shout out to yo. What chapter was that, man? They make that look good. I ain't gonna lie. That was my vibe. See, I was in my element this weekend, bro.
Sundress and seersuckers.
Okay, sundresses and seersuckers, bro. Like shout out to and what chapter was it? Do it say?
I don't know.
Shout out to the bruhs, man. Shout out to them bruhs, man, because that was a great event. Huge. So many people was there. So shout out to Lex. Shout out to I don't know if I could block that out, Dylan. Block name out. But shout out to Lex, man. She definitely she held me down. She got me access. Yeah, man. Yeah.
It looked out.
Yeah, she looked out.
But I ain't gonna lie to you. Like your birthday week was before we get to that, it was fun seeing you in your element in this capacity, right?
Okay.
Like I see you host, right? But it's just like suit and tie hosting is a little different.
Yeah.
But you realize like it's still one universal language.
Yeah.
Just get the crowd hype. And it was funny because you weren't booked to host, but for some way you found yourself to the stage, bro.
And I usually don't be doing that.
Grab the mic and
like,
turn it up.
I'm bougie. I'm like, bro, I'm not hosting if I'm not getting paid.
Right.
But it was like,
we
why
having
not?
fun.
Yeah, we having fun.
And it was just interesting because like we walked into that tent. They were vibing. It's not like they weren't having. They were chilling. Boy,
We turned it up. Shout out to the horny bros. shout out to the horny people that can't stand to let it shine, right, bro? Because you probably ain't even peep. Nobody was on the mic, and it was rocking for a minute. So I get on the mic. As soon as I get on the mic,
somebody else
I want to be like, yo, I'm from the host chapter. Let me get the mic, bro. Like, yo, why y'all can never let a shine, bro? That's like y'all gotta look deep down inside you and see like what's going on.
Yeah.
Because like, and cool, I'ma respect it. Like I ain't even about to be on no young. You got it, bro. It's
I
your
did
chapter.
peep that.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you got it. But it'd be like, as soon as they do something, you wasn't even thinking about it. Yo, let me get the mic, bro. Why? You see, I'm vibing and the crowd lit. But what you want? Show me out? Go ahead. You got it, bro. Like, yeah.
That was interesting though.
Bro, it'd be weird, but I understand. Everybody want to be everybody want to shine. Everybody want to get the camera, man. So if you see this, if you ever see it, I don't know, shout out to the hold up. Can you call E? Hold up. I'm
about to call E.
What chapter? I don't know what chapter it is. I want to get it right. I want to get it right. What chapter is it, man?
You know what's crazy about that though?
What?
I didn't realize it was just one chapter.
One chapter.
I'm thinking it's like, you know how the Maryland Bros have their cookout and everything like that. I'm thinking it's like that. But he was like, nah, it's just one grad chapter. I said, bro.
One chapter. Let's see.
That shit's crazy.
I want to get this right. Oh, man.
You about to enter the phone all cool.
You get 3 rings with me, man. If you don't answer the phone, like.
Somebody else right now. Biscuit.
I'm going to call somebody else.
Let me see. Sundresses. They might have it.
It should be on the Instagram.
Man, they done got so much stuff on this Instagram.
What's up, Joe?
Yo, bro, don't say nothing crazy on the podcast. What's the name of the chapter who threw the sundresses and seersuckers event?
I don't even know.
Damn, we all cat.
God damn.
Yo, I don't even know. I got it right here. I got it written down, but it's like I don't know it off the top of my head. I don't really know.
All right, I'm gonna find out. I'm about to call someone.
Don't say that crazy. I'm on the podcast.
I'm on the pod. You on the podcast,
This
bro? Don't
is
say that
crazy.
crazy. I'm trying to get this right. Hold up. I'm gonna call you back.
Hold up. Nah, I'm looking. I'm invested.
All right. Yeah, I'm about to find out. Ah, man, hold up.
Let me see.
We gonna get this right, y'all.
I'm going to try to call somebody, too.
I'm about to call somebody else. 1 second. If this this is gonna be the ultimate cat test right here,
Why?
cause he's an alpha.
Oh, my God.
So, but I mean, it's not fair, but whatever. We're
Oh,
gonna see.
my God.
Oh wow, nobody answers my phone calls. This is crazy.
It's Sunday.
This is real life.
They're recovering. It was a
He
hell
ain't
of a
recovering. He ain't do nothing.
night. He ain't go yesterday?
No.
Oh, damn.
All right, I'm gonna call. I'm gonna call Biscuit, man.
I was going to say, I got somebody.
I'm gonna call Biscuit. This is how you know. They always be like, "Yo, Jay lit. Jay ain't lit." Don't
Answer on the
my
first
phone
ring.
calls.
Can't be busy.
I'm gonna call one more person who I think should know.
Nah, Biscuit got to know.
Yo, Biscuit, what up, bro? Don't say nothing crazy on the podcast. Yo, what chapter throws the sundresses and seersuckers event?
Roswell. The chapter name is Zeta Mu Nu, I believe.
Zeta Mu.
Roswell Grand Chapter.
Biscuit, shout out to you, bruh.
Shout out to
Roswell in Sandy Springs.
We just knew you was going to answer the phone.
shout out to Biscuit. Always answer the phone when I call, man. Shout out to my dog. So you said Roswell grad chapter?
Yeah, like Roswell Sandy Springs Grand Chapter.
All right, bet. Appreciate you.
One chapter, bruh.
Yo, shout out to the grad chapter of Roswell Sandy Springs, man. They did the damn thing. But back to I don't even know where we left off.
No, but I mean, you was essentially just talking about, like, shout out to them.
Yeah, shout out to them and oh yeah, the bruh. If you from Roswell Sandy Springs grad chapter, right, in Atlanta, Georgia, right, Roswell, Georgia, you had the brown suit on. You look nice. You look nice. But you saw you want cramping style. That's hate. That's hate, bro. But it's all love, bro, because it was just it's your day.
It was your day.
It's your day.
Hey, man.
So I'm gonna pass the mic. Do your thing, but you're hating.
Do you think so? Yeah. It was
Or you can. It's either you hating or you can't stand that shit. You're hating. You can't see it. You can't stand to see another shine in your spot. Cause the DJ wasn't even hosting.
Nah.
The moment I got the mic, we turned that up.
Bro, I ain't gonna lie to you. We was kind of wilding yesterday.
Why you say that?
I replayed it. We went everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
We walked on stage.
Yo, that was
wildin'.
walking on stage, bro. What are we doing?
And the crazy thing is, like, I had to play it back in my mind.
But they let us though.
But sweet.
Where's the stage? Where do I go on stage at? Right there.
I was like, all right.
Just go up.
In my mind, you gave me the green light.
Who was performing? First of all, shout out to the chapter, right? Because one thing I want to say, they did a great job with access, letting people in. I ain't had no problems. Like my camera guy ain't had no problems. Like it was a great, like they did a great job at like controlling the crowd from the outside. Perfecto. But if I could critique one thing, the stage security or like presence need to be better. Because who was that performing?
I don't know.
Because think about it. If I'm performing on stage, right, and anybody can just get on stage, that mean I ain't safe. Granted, we wasn't doing that, right?
Nah, yeah.
But I'm like, bro, it shouldn't have been that easy to get on stage.
You know what it is, though? I had to think about this.
We had cameras. We look like somebody.
You look like you're supposed to be there.
But still, it don't matter.
you look like you're supposed to be on there. There was only one person that was like, "What's going on?" Like, what?
Facts.
After that, everybody else was just like, "Hey, went up, got a great shot." I'm talking about I got a great shot, got the whole crowd and everything. Got my shot and got off the stage, bro. But shout out to the what's his name, Andres, the photographer.
Yeah.
Hey, bro, he inspired me,
Yeah.
and like, cause the way that he commanded the room,
I
was
love
just
it.
like, bro,
I love it.
his foresight, his visionary, and the ability to have like that relationship.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, with certain people. I was like, how many
You
times?
could tell he be shaking, like moving and shaking.
Yeah,
He
and
came in
was
like, yeah, man, this is my guy. Yeah.
bro. He was like, I was like, how many times have you shot at the backyard? He was like, this is like my 4th time this month. I said, oh, okay.
Nigga outside.
Yeah, for sure outside.
Shout out to the gang, man. Shout out to everybody that helped make that day special. Help make my birthday special. This weekend has been great. We ain't even through the weekend yet. Like, it's even so much going on today, but I don't think I'm gonna make everything. I don't think I'm gonna make anything, honestly.
You should go out again. I feel like some way, somehow you're gonna end up at MCK though.
Tonight?
I just don't know how, but you some way, somehow you.
I don't know. It's work season for me and Cle. You know that's an out spot. So I love Cleon. I be calling Cleon. I'm on ice right now. Good, me too.
This nigga said good.
It makes it helps me be on ice. When you call somebody, be like, I'm chilling. Yes, thank you. Don't encourage me to be on the boards.
Be excited when you be on ice. Like, don't call me, nigga.
Yeah, thank you. Me too. You right, bro. Now it make you second guess yourself. Like, bro, I'm chilling, bro. Like, you know what?
Maybe
I should be chilling too. Maybe I should be chilling too. You know what? Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Like, yeah. So, but that's his spot. So I don't know, man. Like,
I'm telling you. All right, watch. And all these another thing.
What?
Man, I love older folk. They just got a good soul to them.
Yeah.
I love older folk. Ooh,
I don't know what we talking about. I don't know how much we want to talk about or not, but we can go there.
Let's do it.
Yo, last night, bro.
Oh my God.
Last night was so crazy, boy. I tell you. Oh man, I miss being a bruz, but even being a mature bruz is different.
Mm-hmm.
All the little cougars is out there. Like, boy, how old is you? Girl, I'm a grown ass man. Like, you look 24. Girl, I'm 34. No, you not. Well, I run a lot. Talk about something.
Yeah.
You look 24. Girl, stop playing with me.
No, I talked to this one lady. I was like, she
He
was
said,
like, yeah.
that's how you know. I
This
talked to this one lady.
Shotty said, I don't remember what the context
Niggas
was.
said, I talked to this one. That's how you know.
Older, a seasoned soul.
But they look good, though.
That's why I was confused. She said, I'm 52. I said,
Damn.
Sheesh. Boy.
Make you second guess, boy.
I ain't second guess nothing. You good with me, mama. You good with me.
You get you a little old school. That's Big Mama for real.
Teach me something.
She got Garfield down there.
Got to rev it up. Vroom, 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 vroom.
You got to turn the key and hit the gas at the same time.
Once that shit get started, nigga, shit
you better not stop it. You better not put it in park. You better hope you don't get no red lights. Because the moment you put it in park, I'm just going to cut off.
That shit going to need a moment. You gotta let the engine cool down for a second.
Nah, but and another thing. It's like, we be making fun of like the younger generation.
Yeah.
But they only got it from the older generation because a lot of people out there had BBLs and everything too. I seen a lot of fat asses. A lot of disproportionate, a lot of good ones, like a lot of bad ones. Like, bro, it was.
Nah, it was a time, bro.
It was a great time.
It was a time, bro.
What a time. It make me want to be the bros again. I told people I might denounce every other day.
This nigga's stupid. This nigga's stupid. I don't know anything about the fraternity, right? So I can't talk about certain things. But it's just interesting to see y'all interact.
Yeah.
Like, especially because I could just tell that where you from or where you cross matters.
Down here is so
people,
different.
Yeah.
They care a lot. They care so much. I be like, God damn. But I like it though because I'm not used to that. Mm-hmm. Like up north, you give us a year and a half maybe, we off this. Like, and then a lot of us, like I was just talking to E about this. A lot of us, and this is nothing against nobody down here because I do love the culture. Up north, I feel like we're forced to have a life outside of Greek, right? So it's like we get into that life outside of Greek, and it's like then that become who we are, or we had to be something before this. Not saying that they didn't have to do that down here, and I hope I'm explaining it right. It's just I think because the culture of Greek is so widespread down here, it's more acceptable to be like immersed in Greek life for so long. Whereas though back home in Maryland, if you kind of like the guy that's always Greeky, you look down upon. It's like, bro, like you too old for this. Whereas though down here it's a culture.
Like you strolling in a club up north.
Yeah, it's like, bro, stop strolling. Like, bro, like we really said it with Mike. Like, what are you doing? Like you look goofy. Whereas though down here it's more of a culture and it's more love. And I actually like that. It's like, it's dope as hell. Because like, you know, like I became a part of this fraternity for a reason. So like up north it's like, man, you get a year, maybe 2 years. And if you still doing that shit in year 3, like, look at this cornball. Like, that's all you got. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I do like it down here, but they take it so serious. I be joking with niggas like, yeah, yo. They be like, yo, what you doing, bro? Like, damn, bro, like, relax. Like, who got your panties in a bunch? Like, shit. Like, they be wildin'.
Nah, they dragged you yesterday. I mind my business. As soon as it was time to walk away, when that little situation happened, I got the fuck. I said, yep.
Oh, no, that's just the bros. I love it. I love that. That's the one thing I do love about the bros.
The
like,
chippiness?
the hostility, yeah.
Why?
I like it because, as crazy as this may sound, because it shows you the passion behind being in the fraternity. That you can't, even though I think, and from my experience, my fraternity is the only fraternity or sorority that, I can say fraternity because I think fraternity could be like for both. The only fraternity that that takes it so serious when it comes to having conversation and greeting people. And I love that because it shows like a barrier of entry.
It's like camaraderie. The camaraderie.
Not even camaraderie. It's like a barrier of entry. Like you can't, like, I don't know how much I can say or not say, but not saying I don't care, but y'all know, niggas know. Like, ain't about to keep playing. But it shows a barrier of entry where it's like, yo, you can't just do this for any old reason. Like, you gotta know why you in this. You gotta know the history about your fraternity. You gotta know things about the frat. You can't just skate your way in this, right? And we ain't even talking about like nothing physical or nothing like that, but just when it comes to the knowledge of knowing your information, knowing about your fraternity, knowing what you're a part of, and knowing your history. I love that, right? So it's like, even like when we get to the cookouts and everybody see like it's hostile and it's hostility going on. Yeah, it is hostility, right? And it's like, bro, it's so many girls around, you want to be talking to niggas, but at the same time, I love that because it's like, no, like, why are you here? You know what I'm saying? Like, let me know what you know about my fraternity, about your fraternity. Like, and I love that because I don't know, like, it should be like that across the board. And it's like, I don't know. That's like one of my favorite parts of the fraternity.
It was interesting because you just kept on saying, "Let the bros be the bros."
Yeah, let the bros. Like, I'm old school.
Like,
like,
all like, ho.
like, bro, relax.
I walk my ass right across. I was
Like,
staring at the Benz stadium.
I love it, bro. Like, really, bro, because it just shows you, like, because at the end of the day, if you're good, you're good. And I say, when I say my interviews, like, if you know what you're talking about, then my interview style is going to highlight you, right? But if you don't, then it's going to make you look bad. So, and even in those moments, if you don't know what you're talking about, that's when you submit to humility. I love it, bro. Like, it's oh my, I feel like we should have some sort of that across the board around the world, because now it's like, okay, if you don't know what you're talking about, you gotta humble yourself in the presence of somebody who does, or in the presence of somebody who knows more than you, just to get more knowledge.
Yeah,
you know
open up your world to. I think that's a universal thing. I think
it should be a universal thing.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Like, opening up your world to correction.
Exactly.
And I think a lot of people, because of the proud, you know what I'm saying, they don't allow themselves to be corrected because it's like, I know better. You know what I'm saying? But that means that you stop learning. Exactly. And if you're not learning, you're dying.
And that's why, again, bro, I can't emphasize it enough how much I love it, because, bro, like, in those moments you see the passion, the love for organization, right? Like, I know we joke all the time, like how I'm cat, or I really don't be doing nothing with the brothers and things like that, but when you're in it, it all comes back. Like, I can joke when I'm not around, but like the moment I'm in it, is like
you're immersing
the love, that you could feel it, and like you can't take that away from me, right? And it's like, bro, I'm looking at it, I'm like, man, this is so dope, because you got two men here who love their fraternity, and that's all they want to talk about, right? One might be more hostile, but it's like those people be the ones that will lay their life down for the fraternity, right? And like, on the outside, we see just a aggressive black man, but it's like, nah, bro, if you within, you understand that this man has so much love for this man, will lay down his life for this. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
this man,
he was saying it. He was like 40 years.
Yeah,
like, he was like, I've been in this
you get what
for
I'm
40
trying to
years.
say? So it's like, man, I love that, man. I love that. Sorry to the bros if I overstepped or whatever, but niggas know what's up. Like, I'm tired of y'all keep trying to keep shit a secret when shit is all over the internet. Y'all niggas go to hell. Like, respectfully, I love you.
Make that left turn.
You know, I'm always going, it's like, fuck it. Where's discretion nowadays anyway? Shit is crazy. Shit get crazier and crazier on the internet. I just seen one nigga was making oil on a gram. Like, what does this shit come to? Like, y'all just do anything, but I digress.
Again, not my world. I'm gonna stay out of that one.
I digress. Like, we don't have no secrets no more. And then the secrets that we do have, y'all niggas probably laying down pillow talk. Come on, go ahead. The Riz probably know all our business. Like,
What is that? What is it? Coleman Love?
wow, that is a joke. It's a joke. Come on, bro. What we talking about? Let's get into the conversation.
Oh my gosh. But nah, I mean, on that note, bro, I think it's perfect because
Stewardship.
the camaraderie, you know what I'm saying, the fellowship, all of that stuff just made me think of community and stewarding community, right?
Yeah.
Because like something that we talked about, honestly, it made me think about E, right? And like when I first moved down here, E made sure I was straight. You know what I'm saying? Like going places, that and the third. And I remember having a conversation with you and we were talking about how like you have been in seasons where you look out for people and when it's time to reciprocate the energy, they don't. So like that was something that I felt like proud of, even though like you invited me, because he would be invited to places and he would bring me along, you know what I'm saying? He would obviously ask people and things of that nature, but like I felt like yesterday was a moment, even though it probably was already in your mind to do so, where I was like, oh, let's invite E. Let's, you know what I'm saying, to be intentional about him going too. He had a blast. You know what I'm saying? Like he had a blast, but I often thought about like, as I'm moving into these spaces and these rooms, like to be sure to include him when I can, because, you know, to steward that relationship in that community. But then I started to think about stewardship overall, you know, and we talk about the word, and a lot of times when you talk about the word, it's more so pertaining to money. But then I looked at the definition, right? And when I saw the definition, it kind of changed my whole perspective, because I was just like, it's so much deeper than just money. You know what I mean? Like, because it can apply to everything, or should apply to everything. So when I looked at the definition, it was just like the act of carefully and responsibly managing something that was entrusted to one's care. So like when you think of something that is entrusted to you, relationships, it could be a car, it could be like just a lot of different things, but we just look at it one dimensional. But community was one of the biggest things that kept on playing into my mind. It's just like, what does that look like though? Because we had conversations in the past where we talk about how do you create boundaries, right, for yourself. But showing up for somebody else in certain seasons may be a detriment to you. But what does stewardship really look like in different seasons of life? But while still being consistent, you're not burning yourself out in certain areas. And I was just thinking about it. Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. I want to skip further along a little bit if I can.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think stewardship in a matter of a relationship or friendship, and I don't want to sound like cliche, but I think it's communication, bro. I think it's communication, accountability, and grace. I'm gonna tell you why.
That's
because we all are individuals, and we all are slaves to our own mentality and our own brains and what we think and what we see, and that's okay. But you got to be able to hold yourself accountable when what you see for you doesn't align with the people that care for you or you care for.
Can you elaborate?
Yeah, so I had a conversation with a close friend of mine, right? And I expressed to him how I wasn't liking how he was moving or whatever, right? But before we got into that conversation, it's crazy how it worked, bro. Before we even got into that conversation, he mentioned how when he first got down here, the space he was in, and like he was dealing with a breakup, and like he was basically trying to find his way. And before we got into the conversation, in my mind, I instantly was like, damn, I might have misspoke. Instantly, right? So I talk about accountability, right? I talk about communication, I talk about grace. So I have to have accountability first to be like, yo, or I have to have grace first to understand, to empathize with him and put myself in his shoes. Even though I might not have liked that, right, for me, but I can put myself in his shoes and have grace. I could be accountable to be like, you know what? Maybe I could have reached out, or maybe I didn't communicate effectively enough, or maybe I misspoke or overstepped too soon, right? To judge something before I had time to let the cards play out, right?
Or gain more understanding, yeah.
Exactly. And then we got to communicate through that. So before we even got into the conversation, I'm like, in my mind, I already took care. I'm like, damn, bro, I might have misspoke, bro, right? My bad. And then I was like, yo, yeah, because I did this. I'm like, yo, I offered you the place to stay. You ain't had to pay no money, no nothing. I was there for you. And he was like, bro, I ain't even see it like that. I just looked at it as like I had options. And I'm like, damn, like, nah, I'm like, bro, I got you regardless. You get what I'm saying? I'm give you the clothes on my back. And that means a lot to me, especially when a nigga don't reciprocate it, right? So, like, we was able to talk, and he was telling me his side of the story. And, again, he was like, yo, damn, I do have to do a better job at, like, you know, like, basic, I don't know exactly what it, but basically nurturing those relationships that be, like, might be different for me, because that's just who I've always been. So, the fact that you could take accountability for, like, you know, like, that's me, and I don't mean nothing by it, but you might have to give me grace when I do get in these spaces, because that's just naturally me. So I can't just up and change tomorrow, right? And even when I had a conversation with him, like, he was like, it's been 2 times where we had like, not falling outs, but like, I challenged him in a public space, and he don't really like that in a public space, because it gives the outside eye an in, almost like they this my way, and they this is what they disagree about. Whereas though me, I'm more so of like,
no, when you say like outside and publicly amongst people, or are you talking about like
amongst people?
Okay.
So like, let's say we arguing, and like I might challenge him, and now it's like, bro, like now this nigga think he probably could talk to me like that because you get what I'm saying, and I understand that, and that makes sense. I'm like, damn, bro, that makes total sense. But I look at it like, we can do this because I dare nigga to try it. Like, even if you talk to me, I dare nigga, or if I talk to you, I dare nigga to try to talk to you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because I ain't knowing that. I don't know what y'all thinking, but it both makes sense. But it's just from 2 different perspectives. So when he said, I'm like, damn, you're right. You know what I'm saying? I apologize, but also I need the space enough to have grace to be able to be me and make a mistake again. Because I might do it again, because that's naturally who I am, and I don't mean no disrespect by it, but that's just who I am, and it's how I look from it. So maybe if you can understand my thought process, and of course, we can't have it happen all the time, right? We got to measure it by how many times it happens. But it's like, when it does happen, if it happens, like, you know, again, that's Jay. Let's have a code word, let's check it a different way. But I get to the stewardship, is like, we got to be able to have these spaces where we have the grace to understand it, and the communication with each other. So when we do get to those spaces, we can work through it. And that's all I ask for, right? Like, because we had a conversation, we talked through it, and it felt great. And I'm a big advocate of men being men. Like, yeah, we can have fallouts, but as part of a man, we should be able to sit eye to eye, have a conversation that's hard or not, and be able to get through it. That's what that's what I think brothers are about, right? Yeah, you can have fallouts, but we can talk about it. And that's what I really don't like about a lot of the falling outs that I've had. Like, it's a few, I can name them. Whereas like, we fall out and you don't talk to me about it. I don't like that, bro. I think that's corny. And yeah, we still can have grace to continue and move forward. But it's like, yo, like, if you call me your brother, your friend, you should be able to, if I do something that rub you wrong, you should be able to come to me and talk to me about it, because I'm going to come to you and talk about it. You feel me? Like, that's just something that I don't like.
I was going to ask you that, because do you feel like every fallout warrants a conversation? Like, every fallout that you have, immediately we should have a conversation? Because, and the reason why I ask you that, right? Sometimes when you're upset, your judgment isn't clear. Like, you're not thinking rationally, right?
Yeah, so
you go into a conversation.
And then have a conversation with a clear mind. What my man said, hold up, I gotta make a decision with a clear mind. I'll be right back. I'm joking.
But nah, like, cause I often think about that. Like, there's a lot of times I want to have a conversation about something. Somebody may rub me the wrong way, but I'm like, all right, this is not the right time. We talked about it with E. You know what I'm saying? Like right conversation when we was back home. Like, right conversation, but wrong time.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, this may not have been the time to do it. But, and this is not, we're talking pertaining to like a falling out, but let's expand it to like just disagreements. You know what I mean? Is it, you feel like you have to address it all the time?
I mean, not right then and there, but address it though. Like, I got people right now that I probably did things to that they didn't really like.
They just harboring it.
Yeah, and they just harbored it, and it's been years. We ain't talked, because now, like, you unfollow me on Instagram or some shit like that. It's like, bro, that's corny. Like, don't make a rash decision off of emotion before we have a conversation. That's what I don't like, right? Like, if you do that, I don't like. We can't be friends. That's like somebody going to the internet about me. You get what I'm trying to say? Like, nah, now, even if I wanted to, I can't, because that's the line I gotta draw. Because now I'm gonna look corny. Like, nah. So I just feel like it don't have to be a right then and there, but it's like, bro, come on, dog. Like, and don't try to move forward like everything cool. And again, if things change from it, that's another thing. So like, I did shows with people, right? And we had disagreements, and we stopped doing the show before we can even communicate about the disagreement. I don't like that. Like, I don't know, especially if we say, because it's different between doing business and like friends. When I'm talking about a lot of the business I be doing be with the people I deem as friends. Like we sit each other, meet each other families and shit, kids, wives and shit like that. So to change the dynamic because of a disagreement before you have a conversation, me personally, I just think that's whack. So if you change the dynamic before the conversation, I think that's the line. Yeah, you don't have to have the conversation right now, but if anything changes from it, I think the conversation should happen before the change.
Okay, I agree. And the reason why I agree is because I think that sometimes we leave room for assumption.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the problem is. Because when I said that like that's the thing that I hate is just people automatically assume the worst. Like we could have just been in a season where it's like, okay, bro, we're just in two different pages.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's okay. You know, and it's not necessarily that like the relationship is disposed of, but it's just like in this season we're not on the same, our paths are not aligned. But a lot of times when you leave room for assumption, people start to create their own narrative.
For sure.
So like going back to what you were talking about with your homeboy, you know what I mean? When he was like, now the outside people feel like they have an in. A lot of times when you just split that way and there's no resolution, it leaves room for assumption for other people to create that narrative. And again, it's often negative.
Yeah.
So as men, we kind of have to control that narrative as much as possible, because what it does is it creates an example for people, the younger generations, of course, that like, it's just F them. Like they throw it away, this, that, and the third. And we've seen it historically. Like we've seen it on professional levels. We talk about 50 Cent a lot. I ain't gonna lie to you. It might be corny, but one thing about him, he gonna address it. You might not like how he addresses it. He's going to say it to your face. Like, this is how I feel about the situation. Now, a lot of times I feel like it's corny because it's on the masses, but at least you know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's no assumption about how he feels about this particular person. So people you can't assume because he's letting you know right there and then. So I just think from like the context of just stewardship, though, going back to the root, one of the other things that I was thinking about is like consistency. And we often talk about, I was watching a show called Swagger, and he was talking about like a 24-hour person. And a 24-hour person is somebody that shows up consistently and doesn't change who they are. That sounds good.
Yeah.
But you evolve. You change. You go through different seasons in your life. How do you steward somebody consistently when you're constantly changing? Or steward a relationship or a community consistently as you are evolving?
I think effort.
What do you mean?
I consistently put the effort in to be intentional. I put the effort in to have to hold myself accountable, to have grace, right? Even in the moments where I mess up, I can admit to my faults, right? I feel like that can be the consistent, because it's hard to be the same person. Like, you're never going to be the same person. We always going to evolve.
Exactly.
But I think a part of evolving is maturity and accountability as well. So as long as that's consistent, like I preach all the time, but I'm consistent in my messages across the board. People might not like it, but shit, at least I'm consistent, right? So I think if you could just be consistently trying to evolve, like, yeah, it might be spaces where you lack, right? And we're human. Give yourself the grace for it, but at the same time, it's like, yo, I ain't about to like make no excuses for it. Like, bro, this is who I am. I'm working on myself, and I might even preach against it, but I'm working hard for it. You get what I'm trying to say? So it's like, I think that's the way we could be consistent across the board. But it's hard though. It's hard for sure.
So I kind of wrestle with that though, because it's not that I can't be consistent, but I just feel like relationships aren't consistent.
And
when I
ups,
say
downs.
Not even just that, ups and downs. It's just like I think we put a facade that every relationship is forever in the way that the dynamic that it's going to be. And it's like you can hang out with somebody every day for 3 years straight, and then all of a sudden it's just like you move across the country and they're not there no more. You know what I'm saying? So like that dynamic is going to change.
100%.
It's not that you hate the person or anything, but like, again, now the stewardship of that relationship just looks different. But I think a lot of times we penalize, it's like, oh, you switched up this, that, and the third. But it's just like, no, I think what matters more so is not if you show up, it's how you show up when needed. And I think a lot of times we don't even get the chance because, again, people already create that narrative of you switching up. So, or you have a friend that same friend 3 years later, you don't talk to them every day, but then they call you or you reach out to them randomly and it's like, yo, I've been going through this time of crisis. And then immediately you go back to that friend that you were 3 years ago. I think that more so speaks to the consistency as opposed to trying to force being that, even though it doesn't make sense because you're miles away from somebody.
Yeah, nah, bro. I think you're absolutely right because
You have a thought. Nah, your mind where it was going to go somewhere else.
no, I'm going there. I think situations, distance, all of that plays a part of how close you are to somebody. Like it was a time where I was living in Laurel, and Tim was my best friend, right? Because Tim lived right there. I could link with him all the time. We talk all the time, right? He even asked me to be his groomsman. I was like, wow, I didn't even expect that, right? Because we built that friendship. It was a time where I lived in a building next door to Stars. Me and Stars real cool. You know what I'm saying? Now Stars in LA, we don't even talk like that, but we still friends. It's been times where, like I think I talked to my homie, and my friend and his friend had just went to a breakup, and he had to move into his crib. Right? They got tighter. Whereas though we were real tight at one point, and then now they getting tight because the situation changed. You get what I'm trying to say? So it's like I think it's always going to change, and just understanding that, or like not taking it personal. I guess that what was the exact question when you were saying?
I think I said I was wrestling with it because like relationships aren't consistent.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like I think we put pressure on people for it to look the same way as day one.
Yeah, but we also can't understand. We also can't ignore the fact that people mourn in different ways, and you don't have to die to mourn something. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, think about it like this, bro. We've been doing this consistently for a while now. Let's say you move, or let's say you decide not to do it no more, and you get close to somebody else, and I'm going to miss this dynamic. I'm going to miss this relationship. So, yeah, it's going to hurt me that change. Yeah, it changed because situations change all the time. But we can't, I don't think, just as much as I can't be upset at you for changing your mind or going a different route, I think people should have more grace for the people who's mourning relationships. And I think we got to do a better job at being able to communicate that effectively, though, because, like, but again, who's to say how somebody mourning is right or wrong, though? Right? Because as long as I'm not doing anything to the detriment of myself or anybody else, I should be giving grace to mourn, because that hurt, and people should understand that more. Like, I feel like we be so full of ourselves that we can't understand somebody else's feelings, but like, yo, you know what? I empathize with that, and I might not move like that, or I might not agree with that, but I understand that, because that hurt. But we gotta be at the end of the day, as men, we gotta be able to speak up. Nigga, I tell you, I think I'm very emotionally sound. Like, I'll let you know, like, yeah, that shit hurt my feelings. You know what I'm trying to say? I think we all gotta be like that, though.
Nah, I think you just opened up the conversation to like a place that I didn't even know that we could go with this, because you talked about mourning, and I think when you talk about stewardship, being able to leave room to mourn, bro, like a season in your life. And again, it's like, it's not dead. I think when you look at mourning, people often think, like you said, it's death, but it's just like, okay, you can mourn change. You know what I'm saying? Like, mourn the change in the dynamic. It's like, okay, thank you. I had this conversation with my therapist one time, and she was talking about, like, you know, you have to give yourself time to grieve. Change.
Yeah.
And it's just like, no, but like in that moment, you acknowledge, like, no, thank you to that season, to the friendships, to everything. Like, when I needed you the most, you were there. But in this current season, I just quite literally can't take you with me. I just can't.
Yeah.
That sucks, though, because you want to take everybody with you.
And honestly, bro, I feel like, but on the other side of that, I always think is a two-way dynamic.
Yeah.
It's not just one way. Yeah, I need the grace. I need to understand. I need the empathy. But I also have to we also have to do a better job in those moments of holding ourselves accountable and stepping up to the place of, like, again, emotional maturity that we might not want to do. And what does that look like?
Communicate.
When we first, not even communication, acceptance. When we was doing Gemini Scorpio podcast, right? And you like, bro, I want to go a different direction. That hurt. But what I do, I'm like, yo, being a good friend in this moment is respecting that. Being a good friend is encouraging that. I don't want this to happen. Yeah, I'm going to give you some other ways to look at it, right? But at the end of the day, when you make your decisions, I got to respect that. And at the end of the day, I want to be a good person. I want to be a good friend to you. And what does a good friend look like? A good friend look like supporting his decision even when I don't agree with it. So that hurt. I had to mourn, but I also had to step up to the plate to have character, integrity, and show up in a space that's uncomfortable for me. So I feel like it's both ways. You got to be accountable to yourself. But also, if, like I said last time, like, yo, if I can be accountable for myself and you can have empathy for me, we always gonna have a great relationship.
And I think that's a great example because like we grieved, we mourned that situation, right? I was crying. You remember that day, but it was just like understanding that while the seasons changed, the dynamic never changed. We always stayed in communication still. You know what I'm saying? We still kept that. We still stewarded the relationship. You know, so that's actually a great example of seeing how a situation might change, but it also left room for this to happen. Because if you just threw it away, like I remember I was reading a book by called A Purpose-Driven Life. And in the book, he was talking about like relationships are not disposable. He was like, they just look different. Like they just change. You know what I'm saying? They evolve. But at any moment, they can pop back up. So like you can never really throw away a relationship. And I always resonated in my mind because I was like, nah, some people be done. Like when they're done with people, they be done. But he was just like, no, but there can always be a catalyst for change within that dynamic. So even in your mind, if you think that it's done, or you're throwing it away, you just never know what the future may hold. So, but when you use that example, I knew it hurt. You know what I'm saying? And that's why, like, I told myself it was always more than just a podcast. Like it was like you were genuinely a friend. And because I always saw you genuinely as a friend or a brother before the podcast and everything, it was the willingness to continue to communicate. It was the willingness, and we have a passion that was similar. You know what I'm saying? We're equally yoked in our passions and things of that nature. So it was, yes, obviously I had to do what I had to do, but then also understanding it did hurt. You know what I'm saying? Like obviously it hurts you. You know what I'm saying? Because you trusted me with something. It's like I had to walk away. For whatever reason it was during that season. So I think that as we have these conversations, I think that is like the maturity that we need more of. But the transparency. Because one thing that you did say, you let it be clear this hurt. And a lot of people, because they have their pride, especially as men, we don't want to show that we're hurt when something doesn't go our way. But that vulnerability also made it easier for us to be able to have the communication in state, because it hurt me to leave, it hurt you to watch me leave, but we didn't let that hurt create a rift.
I wish people understood that you gain nothing by like having a wall up. You gain nothing, right? Because you have a wall up, people think their position in your life isn't as valued, right? But when I think the more we understand that transparency and our vulnerability is our superpower, the better the world can get. Because now, I'm gonna let you know that I love you. Yeah, I'm gonna let you know that this hurts. And I don't have to agree with it, but I'm gonna let you know that, yo, this is how I feel about it. Now that gives you the door, if you're a good person, to understand that, damn, I meant something to this person. Damn, he really cares. Wow. You get what I'm saying? And now we always want to be heard. We always want to be seen. We always want to feel like we and not even in a negative way. We want to be seen to feel like we're valued, that people care. So now me telling you that I care can open a door for you to be vulnerable back. Wow, he cares. Oh, wow, she cares. Now let me step up to the plate, right? When I say Marcus, like, yo, he show up as a friend, I'm like, damn, bro, like that makes me want to be a better friend. That makes me want to show up more. So now if we continue to have this ping pong or this effect, it's going to affect each other. And we're going to get better friendships, right? But when you don't speak up, when you're not vulnerable, people will never know, and that gives people the space to think what they want, create their own narrative. Yeah. And then when they create their own narrative, again, bro, the devil is real. The devil is working. Who knows what they're thinking, right? And you could easily say they shouldn't be thinking negative. The first thing to their mind shouldn't be negative. But, bro, look at the world. It's easier said than done. Look at the world that we live in, bro. Who are you to say that your actions didn't validate them thinking something negative, right? So it's like, I feel like vulnerability can open up the doors to have better relationships and friendships, and also help other people get better. Because people can learn through us. Like, why not share your story, bro? You share your story, people can learn. That's one of the best feelings in the world. That you saying that you help somebody. So I think vulnerability is a huge deal, bro. Especially in friendships, because again, it opens the door to get more love. Like when you block it out, you open the door to hate.
You know, we don't talk about women. Because this is about men. But you know, something that I think about with that, I often look at a lot of women in their friend groups, and it's rare, right? I remember I had an ex that was talking about, she was like, it's hard to make friends as women. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's hard to make friends, but I feel like with men, you hear these conversations of friend groups, 20 plus, 30 plus. well, in my spaces, I can't say that for everybody, but like, I feel like for us, it's easier for us to maintain those friendships for 20, 30 years or whatever, or you meet somebody day two, and then it goes 30 years. Why is that? Why do you feel like it's easier for us to keep and maintain those relationships than our counterparts?
That's a question we have to ask Wolf. No, but I think I don't know. I think I'm looking for an answer that he would say that would be so phenomenal. I don't know. Like I don't know, bro. I think yeah, I don't have an answer, bro. I really don't know. I want to say I think because we value respect, but I don't know what that have to do with it. I think
Threw your curveball there.
yeah, I can't tell you. I just know that I do value my friendships, but I don't want to say I value my friendships as if a woman value her friendships as any less, right? I just know that
Yeah, that's good.
yeah. So it's nothing I can say because I don't want to pin us against each other. But what I did want to go to the and not to like just go off topic. I wanted to go to the point of like just being vulnerable, and that woman thing, and not to make it a man versus woman thing, but hopefully a conversation of introspection and just for us to grow closer as a gender. And the one thing that hurts really bad is I feel like men are in a space where we can't really be vulnerable without women, because then it does get thrown back in our face. I feel like when it comes to these relationships, men and women both, but I can only speak from a man perspective because I'm a man that deal with women. I feel like women hold us so high on this pedestal sometimes when they first meet us, as like they look at us like a superhuman that we can't do no wrong. So when we do wrong, or we be vulnerable and we show them who we really are, or we show them that we are human, now they judge us to the fact of like up to their expectations. And when we don't meet their expectations, they treat us differently. And I think that hurts. Well, it does hurt. You know what I'm saying? Because like, damn, like I almost got to be perfect. Like, I was talking to somebody, and this is a joke, but it's serious. And she was like, once you get that ick, you stuck with it. And like just on a smaller scale, right? Like if you trip, and I see that now, I look at you differently. It's like, bro, what? I can't.
Now you clumsy now.
Yeah, I can't do something like I can't be human. I can't be normal. And I think that's a space. I don't know how we get out of that space. Hopefully, women can have that conversation. But it's like, yo, I do feel like a lot of men that I've talked to feel like that we can't be vulnerable with women. That you shouldn't tell them everything. You shouldn't tell them when you down or you hurt, because they're gonna look at you differently. And I think that's a space that we could tighten the gap when it comes to men and women.
So, I think we talked about the character aspect last episode, where it's just like, just because somebody doesn't reciprocate it doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. I think that we as men should be vulnerable regardless to our women. You know what I'm saying? If you use it, you'd use it, but then now you have a decision to make.
How many times are we going to use it and have it abused against us for us to just be like, man, I quit?
I mean, for some men, it's one time. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think that's fair to yourself, because now it's just like you're allowing somebody else's reaction to you determine who you are. And now that's talking about character. So it's like, what's your character really? Is your character something that is like you're doing it
because somebody else,
according to somebody else, or is this really who you are? Because if this is really who you are, like, it's okay to be vulnerable. Now, discern, protect your peace. It says guard your heart. The Bible talks about guarding your heart, right? So you have to find that balance and understand of how to. Emotional intelligence is understanding that you have emotions, but how do you communicate it? You know what I mean? So is your vulnerability an impassioned speech? You know what I'm saying? Every time, it might not be that. It might just be, hey, like, this hurt me. You know what I'm saying? This was a place. And if you see somebody again that when you use that moment, they throw it in your face. Now you have a conversation within yourself of like, is this something that I can maintain, or is this a crossroads? I don't think that it should necessarily be determined by the person, because again, this is something that you want. You want to be able to be vulnerable. You want to be able to feel safe. Yes, it's the reality is that there's a lot of people that are in this world that can't handle that. But once you start to, you will never know unless you try. And I think it's about taking those risks. And to be able to recognize that, because you might find that person that you can be vulnerable with. Like I was talking to, love this guy, one of my mentors, and he was like, bro, I sat there and I cried in front of my wife for like 30 minutes. And that was That meant everything to me to hear that. And I was like, how did she process that? And she was like, she accepted it. She gave me a hug because she was like, I know you my little crybaby. But to be able to even say that, we might laugh about it as men. Some people would be like, oh, you crying in front of your wife, this, that, and the third. But man, what? I wish that I could be in a place where I'm vulnerable enough to just like, yo, this shit hurt. And it's something that he was grieving about, a loss from years ago. And she probably looked at it in the moment. He just poured out. She didn't use that against him. But you would never know if you didn't put yourself in a place to be vulnerable. Now, again, like you said, some people might throw it in your face. But you don't know unless you try, bro.
Yeah, that's a fact.
So I understand both sides. I'm not gonna, like, we always talk about the two sides of it because we don't understand the steps that somebody takes to become vulnerable. I often used to talk about this. I had a code word with one of my exes. And I was like, I'm going back in my shell. If you ever hear me say I'm going back into my shell, that means I'm closed off to the world. So I understand it. Like, I had moments where it's like, okay, I try to be vulnerable. I got stung. I'm gonna just go back to my shell and protect myself. It was a cop out though. You know what I'm saying? Because the reality is, I want to be vulnerable. I want to be seen because in my vulnerability, that's my truest self. So you mean to tell me that, like, I'm hiding my truest self because of fear of being hurt?
That's great. That was dope.
So I mean, I get it, bro. I understand that as men, we have moments where it's just like, fuck, I'm gonna just keep getting stung. But it's just like the moment that you do get received, the moment that you do find somebody that recognizes it, that you can be vulnerable. Again, cry in front of your woman. And it's not just because of something like
somebody passed or something.
Yeah, bro. Like, well, it was like in that sense, but there's somebody that passed away years ago. And it's like, but you have a moment to grieve. Bro, that's the truest form of vulnerability.
But, and then when I say, same conversation about not being vulnerable, look at how stronger the bond is when somebody feels like they're comfortable enough to tell you something like that or to cry in front of you, right? Or that they trust you enough that to tell you something to know that you won't throw it in their face. Look how stronger the bond is. Now, you flip that and then you throw something in their face, and that only creates more distance, more resentment, more anger, more hatred. Why do we want that, right? So it's like, next time you get into a conversation, maybe you should think about that before.
Why do we do that, though? I'm trying to understand that. I'm trying to rationalize in my mind. What do you gain by throwing something, like, because we do it as men too sometimes. Like, are we that angry? Are we that hurt? I'm trying to rationalize it in my mind. Because we do it as men.
It looks different, bro. I ain't gonna lie. So I guess I'll just be open and transparent with my situations. I feel like it looks different from different people. Because on one end, like, I know I was doing it to defend my character, right? But again, that's why I say I don't never want to be the person I was in my last relationship, because I don't want to be that person, right? Because it goes into whereas you say something about me, right? And now I'm saying, how could I be this when I did X, Y, and Z? To you, that's throwing it in your face. To me, I'm defending myself, right? So it's like it's a
slippery slope.
It's a slippery slope. I think, again, compatibility matters, because now we understand the language that we both talking. If we don't understand the language that we're talking, it's always going to look different. You get what I'm trying to say? Whereas though somebody might understand that, like, if we're having a conversation and you say, yo, how can you look at me like this when I did this and that? I'm not going to look at it like you threw it in my face. I'm going to understand it because that's the language I talk. I'm like, oh, all right, you got a point, but this is different. Or you get what I'm trying to say? Whereas if somebody else might look at it like, bro, what? Like, how could you bring that up when? And I'm like, nigga, like, you just said I wasn't this and that, and I'm saying, how can I not be this and that when I did this and that?
That's tricky. I'm like, I understand where you're coming from. I understand the other side, but it's just like, then we're never going to be able to communicate. You know what I'm saying? For a lot of people, when it's just like, if you don't have room to be able to, you should be able to defend your character.
Yeah.
Right? But I think also it's just like, can you defend your character without, quote unquote, throwing something in somebody's face?
But how is that throwing something in somebody's face?
That's why I said quote unquote.
Right.
Right.
For me, that's giving examples, right? Like, if I'm a counter argue your argument, I got to be able to give examples
Or facts, right?
Right. So it's like, if not, then me saying that you're not right without the facts is null and void. And that's how I look at it.
I'm thinking because I'm trying to process it because all right, I remember I'm gonna use a situation where one of my exes, because she said something similar to that, and I remember I felt really bad about it because she was like, I told you this in confidence and you used this the minute that you could, because like, let's be real. All right, I'm gonna give you this scenario. It was a situation, this is years ago, I was like 21, so it doesn't even matter now, but like, I caught her, like she went to a festival with somebody. Her homeboy that she used to mess with was there. Mm-hmm. Takes a picture with the nigga. I see that joint, I go, oh. And when I was having a conversation with her, like she was like defending the situation. So I got irritated a little bit and I was just like, why are you defending this nigga? And he did all of X, Y, and Z. And in her mind, she was just like, you threw that in my face like the minute that you could. But on my side, again, you talk about twofold. Like I was using the example. Yes, I was impassioned and upset, but I also was looking at it from a standpoint of, like, why are you arguing with me? Like I'm on your side. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And like you're defending somebody that has clearly shown you you're not on their side. Mm-hmm. But in my mind, I'm like just trying to make a point that I'm on your side. But on the other side, it's like I told you this in confidence, and I was vulnerable about this, but you used that so you were trying to tap into your emotion and manipulate. Like that's what she was saying, to manipulate me through the emotion of something that you know would trigger me to make a point.
I was saying it so you could maybe look at it and understand that because you felt like this could, like, again, as a man, I understand it.
Yeah.
So, and I'll go even deeper into something that maybe more people might be able to relate to, right? Mm-hmm. And ladies, maybe let's make this a clip, and ladies, maybe you can answer this, right? How do we have this conversation, right?
Right.
Let's say a woman says, yo, you don't value me. And as a man, I'm like, bro, how can I not value you when I pay all the bills so you can stay here and be home and not have to work? That's me showing you that I value you. A woman might say, yo,
you're using that against me.
Right, or I choose to allow you to do that. And even if that's the case, it's like, bro, that's not my point. I'm just saying I'm trying to show you how I value you. So how do we have that conversation without that looking like me throwing something in your face? Like, again, I don't know as a man. Right. I just know from my perspective, because it's like, yo, I'm just trying to show you that I do value, and this is the way I move to value. Whereas though you might be talking about something totally different. And it's like, bro, like I don't show my value like that. And I know that's what you want, but I'm showing you how I do show my value. Now you think I'm throwing that in your face or saying you less than, and that's not what I'm trying to do. That's why I said we gotta just have conversations with people who hear us, and that's all I could think of.
Now this is really good because this is still along the lines of the conversation of stewardship, right? Because when somebody's entrusting you with their truth, right? Mm-hmm. How do you nurture that trust in that? Because when you're talking about like how do I have that conversation, that is a part of stewardship, right? And how do I steward communication? You know what I'm saying? Like how do I nurture this vulnerability in communication that I have and create good form? I don't have the answer at the top of my mind. So like, yes, let's create the clip so that we can gain answers. And like, what do you really want? What does it look like? I do think a lot of people don't know though. Like they don't know they don't know what they want. I know I have an idea of it, but go ahead. But
not, we saying communication, but again, effective communication. But again, I think effective communication comes through people who can hear you. Like, and that's why I think this is the best way to put it without putting a blame on anybody. Because we have people who understand us for who we are. Mm-hmm. But we also have people who don't. We can't blame the people who don't. We just got to do a better job at finding the people who can. Why? I think with anything, we should be able to take the route of least resistance. I think sometimes we embrace hardship too much, especially as black people. I was joking to you about today, like, oh, you just woke up? Like, nigga, yeah, I got rest. Like, why tired. Yeah, like, you want to belittle me? You want me to do the hardest thing? Wake up for what? Nigga, it's the weekend. You know what I'm saying? So, but again, I think as black people, when we talk about being from the hood, or like, it's like we champion struggle, right? So the same thing with our relationships. Let's not champion the struggle. Right? Let's champion the road to least existence when it works for us. When we talk about, and I know that's going to go into the conversation that you were talking about, maybe, I don't know. But when we champion the route of least resistance, what did that look like? I want to be with somebody who hears me for who I am, and we could communicate effectively. Because when I try it the other way, that's going to only create more distance in our relationship and separation. So like now, when we have that conversation and we're on the same page, when you say, Jay, you don't value me, and I say, yo, how can I not value you when I do such and such? It's twofold. Then you may be able to meet me and be like, yo, no, what I mean by you don't value me, I appreciate you do that, but I need this, and that for that. Okay, right? But also, maybe I might not be the guy for you when you say, Jay, you don't value me, because now my mind just clicked. You don't value me. Maybe the first thing I should be like is like, what makes you think I don't value you? Right? Is this, and that. Okay, I might not, because even now I'm trying to still defend it when I probably shouldn't. I probably should just be more open of hearing your perspective of why I don't value you, so I can get better in that space. But so many times, again, I feel like you saying I don't value is challenging my character when I really do think, or challenging my truth, for lack of better words. And I might not be character, it might be truth, because I know I value, and these are ways that I step up to value. Whereas though you might be just looking for me to ask more questions of wow, how, so I can get better in those spaces instead of, I don't know, diversion or deflecting and bringing something else up, right? But maybe I might not be the person for that person. I don't know. I'm trying
this
to
is
make sense of
good.
this shit.
This is good, bro, because like what you just said just made me think of like, we're going to stay on the conversation of value, right? In this instance that you were talking about, immediately in my mind is just like, okay, your idea of value is two different places right now.
Right.
So, okay, like how do we as men communicate that? Is it just us asking the question of, when you say you don't value me, instead of saying, like you said, how don't I value you? Instead, should the question be, what does value look like to you?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Before I even answer that, I'm going to ask a follow-up question. You know what I'm saying? Should we be slower to respond and just quicker to ask more follow-up questions as opposed to explaining our character or defending our character in that moment? Is it a moment of seeking more understanding before we respond? And that's tough, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because you're a man. At the end of the day, you have feelings. We have emotions too. You know what I mean? So when you do feel like your character is attacked, it's hard for you to immediately just go to like, okay,
Let me hear you out.
not even just more. Yes, let me hear you out, but then like, where is this coming from?
Right.
You know what I mean? What's the rationale behind it? But I also wanted to go back to something that you said about like the path
To least resistance.
least resistance, and it made me think of a Bible verse. And I think a lot of times, like, we talk about being equally yoked and things of that nature, but it just made me think of this verse because I often go back to it a lot, and I think that as humans, especially within our Black community, though, it's like a badge of honor to overcome.
Yeah.
But you know what, that I think that might be rooted in a survivor's mentality in a sense. And I'm going to elaborate after this point. But the verse was Matthew 11, verse 28 to 30. And Jesus says, "Come to me, all you who are weary and heavy burden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and let me teach you, because I am humble and gentle at heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy to bear, and the burden I give you is light." So here we have Jesus talking about his burden, and his yoke is easy. You know what I mean? But oftentimes we carry the heavy burden. You know what I mean? Like, we want to carry the heavy burden, and you have Jesus telling you like, yo, don't take that burden. I'm going to give you this burden. My burden is easier, way easier than try to carry it on your own. And I think that also goes from like a standpoint of us constantly having to prove that we're worth it. You know what I'm saying? And I think that when you look at it from, when I say a survivor's mindset, a victim mentality too, where it's like, if I don't overcome, I mean, obviously you still got to go through something. Like, there's a path to, like, there's going to be some type of resistance. But if I don't overcome the most extremities, then it's not validated. We often talk about people, not to segue too far, but like, all right, you have somebody that grow up in the hood versus somebody that grows up in the suburbs, and this person in the suburbs had a great experience, they were successful, and it's like, oh, you were supposed to do this. You could have not, though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And that doesn't mean that you didn't struggle.
Right. You know what I mean? But I think that within our community that we focus more so on that, because we hear those examples or the one-offs that like, oh man, if I didn't go through the struggle because or whatever I went through, then it's not validated. Meanwhile, the person that did go through it, if you really ask them, if they could choose to go through that path versus the other side, they would have chose the other side.
Yeah, facts.
You know, but it was just when you said that in relationships and things of that nature, I think we really do focus on that. Where it's like sometimes, I don't even know how we got to this place, but it's a great conversation, that if you feel like when you're in a relationship and you're not going through something, then y'all really love each other.
Yeah.
I think that's a toxic mentality
For
to have.
sure. Yeah.
That's really a toxic mentality to have, because it's like it's supposed to be easy.
Yeah. Let's go back to the conversation of saying like stewarding a relationship and like having grace but also being accountable. Right? So I think we have to do a better job at having grace and being accountable. It comes back full circle. Because if you can challenge yourself of how you present the question of value, right? Like, think before you speak. I need to do the same exact thing, but also give you the space to be able to be frustrated, but also give me the space to be frustrated, right? Look at it like this. So yeah, you might bring up something like, yo, Jay, like, you don't value me. I could be like, yo, I could be graceful and understand that you might be frustrated in space, and then give you the grace or understanding and be like, yo, why you don't think I value you, right? Or I can have another one and be like, yo, I do value you because da-da-da. Then you could be graceful with me, right? And, or on the other side, if you challenge yourself to be like, let me not come at him like that. Let me come at him in a space where I know he can hear me, right? I think we got to challenge ourselves individually. And that's, again, if we could continue to challenge ourselves individually, it's going to make the pair better. But again, I think that comes with the person you with. Because if you with somebody who understands that, who's constantly doing that, y'all constantly going to be doing it together. So like, I don't know, like I just feel like we gotta stop settling for less, and I don't want to say settling as if like the other person isn't good enough. No, it's just that person don't work for you, and we gotta understand that and be okay with that. Why we want to make a challenge? Everything gotta be a challenge. No, it shouldn't. When you date somebody, it shouldn't be a challenge, bro. It should be. You should be able to have a honeymoon stage. You should be able to enjoy the beginning. It shouldn't be a challenge of, yeah, this don't work, so I'm gonna make sure that I can do this better so she can like me, or she can do this better so I can like her. No, bro. It should be able to be easy. Even when we talk about the Bible, what they say, God, like, to his people, he's gonna be able to hear his voice. The same way, bro, to the person that's for you, you should be able to walk in that space easily. It shouldn't be hard. You shouldn't have to doubt yourself. You shouldn't have to be challenged so many times. It should be like, you know what? Wow, this is dope. This is great. I love this. I hear her. She hears me. Instead of like you enter in a relationship and it's just constant conflict. Now you're trauma bonding. Now you're codependency. You have the codependency issues because now like you looking at somebody as like, nah, we're gonna fight to be together. You shouldn't have to do that, bro.
You know what is crazy, bro? It just made me think of like an analogy is like you're trying to put a circle in a triangle. It just don't fit.
It don't fit. It's
But
okay.
it's just like,
move it over.
Yeah, like it's okay. Like you ever seen a child that's they're playing with their little shape toys and it's just like, bro, it just don't work.
And you're frustrating yourself more and more. Yo, hey, let me show you. It's a circle right here. Put it in there. Oh, wow.
It's just that piece.
It's that simple. Oh, this goes in here. Oh, thank you, Daddy.
Nah, that's good, bro. I mean, in the context of stewardship, I think to bring this to a close, I think we need to do it more often. Like really be stewards. Like, but understand that you are coming from a position that you are a steward. And I think a lot of times people don't understand that it's like God gave you a shiny new toy, right? It's just you just see it as a shiny new toy, but you don't understand that this is something that is entrusted to you. And a lot of times we look at relationships and people as disposable at times, where it's like, no, this is something that was entrusted to you. I mean, I'll use the example of even something that you said with a girl yesterday when I was talking to you. You're like, look, if this is something that you know that you can't, that you don't want to do in the future, you know what I'm saying? Because she got kids. Then
don't put yourself in that position.
Right.
Because then you're going to put yourself in a position that you're going to feel entitled and like you have to do this. And it's like, that's only going to create more resentment.
Exactly. So it's just like, but understanding that now they're entrusting you. And you are in this particular situation, you have to steward that. And if you look at that across the board from a position of empathy, now you understand that you're bringing value to this. And because you're bringing value to this, you can't be an Indian giver in a sense. And a lot of times I think we're Indian givers where it's just like, oh, okay, this is just something, I'm going to give this for a moment, but then I'll take it back. You don't understand that on the other side, that there's real life consequences and feelings, because you don't see yourself as a steward. You just look at it like for the moment. So being more conscious, bring it full circle, like being more conscious of the position that you hold in people's lives, I think brings forth more impact and change and things of that nature, but then also more healing.
No, that's a fact. That's a fact. Bro, what we got that's going to make the people upset, bro? We got one. Let's go through one. You know, I got to.
Oh my gosh. I didn't even see what time it was. One? Because this one might be, what time does the movie start?
4:25.
Okay, we'll make it short.
You funny as hell. Good one. You just had to say that on camera, huh?
I had to.
You funny.
You don't leave it out. All right. We could piss people off by saying Lil Wayne's album sucked.
That's not good enough. Because I think a lot of people agree. Except for you.
Or we could talk about Duke Dennis. That's probably going to piss people off.
Did you see where Duke Dennis said he didn't have any kids?
No.
That's all I've been hearing. That and if people are upset with Duke Dennis because he said he didn't have kids and he does have kids, understood. But if he never said that, what is the argument about?
I gotta go look though, because some people are saying, I've never seen it, but some people are saying that he did say he didn't have no kids.
Okay, so let's you know I hate this, but let's have a hypothetical conversation then.
Okay.
If he did say he didn't have kids,
Okay.
even still, does that matter? Why are we so invested?
I don't know, bruh.
This IRL kid shit I don't understand. People be so invested in other people. Like, I was just having a conversation like, yo, y'all, and I'm not, well, I am judging. Fuck it. I don't give a fuck about y'all little ass kids. It's like, I don't understand how IRL works. You that invested into another nigga's lifestyle. Like, nigga, get your own life. But then people be listening to other podcasts. I can't say that, but whatever. I don't get it.
It's content.
So, yeah, it's content. Fuck it. But, yeah, so it's like, if that man has kids and he said he didn't have kids, is it because he has is it because he built a brand off of people that are invested in his lifestyle? Is that the thing? And I guess I will understand that, because if you built this platform off of gaining our trust and you lied to us, now it is a problem. Okay, I can understand that.
But I don't think it's that. I think it's more so just streaming has created a sense of entitlement.
Yeah.
Or just content in general, right? Because
you sold you to us though. So now if that's not you, you tricked me.
Right. So now it's like, all right, so you're keeping you're exposing me to one side, but not all.
Not even that though, because now we're having a hypothetical conversation as if he did say he didn't have kids, right? Because now it's not like you're what's the word? You have a liar or you have like withholding the truth, right? We're not talking about that. We're talking about as if you lied, hypothetically, right? So if you lied, you created a false image of yourself. Now it's just like falling in love with somebody that's fake. Now we fell in love with somebody who we thought you were when you're not that, because you do have kids. And if you have kids, give us the space to like it or not. Now you created an image. You created a false image of who you are when that's not really who you are. And so as a fan, I'm upset at that, because now it's like, bro, you lied to us. I can get that.
Okay. Now on the other side, the other hypothetical,
it's if he don't want you to know.
What he said, what we saw at the clip, where he was like, I just keep certain things off, and it's not your business.
Right.
Like, and I think that he's entitled to that.
He is.
I think it's fair for him to be like, hey, bro, like, because there's a lot of weirdos in this world, and people will go clip children, and we saw it with we seen it with DDG and his kid.
Yeah.
Like, people making memes of his child. We've seen it with D Wade's daughter. People making memes and the pictures of the kids out there. Once you expose your child to the internet, you don't know how people are going to use their likeness, their likeness and things of that nature. And the one side though that people are talking about is, while he didn't bring this up, the baby mamas did speak.
Right.
So you do have one side, while you are trying to protect this and you are looking at it from this standpoint, there's a disconnect somewhere. Because here you have people on the other side that are vocal, that are saying this stuff, they're creating a narrative. You're not addressing it, but so that leaves room for assumption.
Exactly.
So I think, though, it's a double-edged sword, because while he is still trying to maintain this allure, could be PR people telling him how to go about it and things of that nature, there's still room for assumption. So I guess from our perspective as like media, people in the media, do you feel like you play with to the allure, or you just keep people guessing, or do you? Well, I already know where you gonna say it, or you address it, but I already know where you about to go with this. Actually,
I mean, if they, so let's get this right. If they are doing things that's diminishing my character, I'm addressing it.
Right.
Or if like diminishing my character or saying I did some things that I didn't do,
my brand,
I'm
yeah.
addressing it off top. But if it's something that's not doing any of that, me addressing it is really getting more is adding more fuel to the fire, is adding more attention to it. When honestly, I feel like our problems be so much smaller than what we make them to be, right? Because it's only in our world. It's a whole group of people who didn't even know who your baby mama was, that didn't even follow them, that don't follow the Shade Room, that don't follow. So now those people who might not have Instagram, that only follow you on YouTube, right? You posted, now they like, oh, what happened? They ain't even know.
Mm-hmm.
So I do believe that some things shouldn't have to be addressed because now you're just giving it more eyeballs than it needs, honestly. But to Duke Dennis, I don't know, bro. I feel like, nigga, Drake got cool hot in this kid. If Drake can get cool hot in this kid, anybody can get cool hot in that kid. You get what I'm trying to say? And it's like, bro, if you don't want people to know, I just don't understand the issue with it. Like, I don't understand. Now, is this baby, because I'm trying to understand more and more. Is this baby mama saying that he's like a deadbeat?
Somewhere.
Okay, cool. Then he deserves the hate.
Some are saying he's deadbeat. Some are saying that he's not active in the life. So it's again.
That's still a deadbeat.
So
most of them saying he's a deadbeat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we should. So again, I think people need consequences to their actions, bro. We shouldn't support a deadbeat, and I think that's good. So yeah, if this gonna make y'all mad, fuck y'all. Like yeah, if nigga, if you're a deadbeat and people get wind that you're a deadbeat, yeah, you should lose supporters because you shouldn't be a deadbeat. And if that's gonna take money out your pocket, I bet you think twice about being a deadbeat. And again, well, first of all, you shouldn't even be trying it again if you're a deadbeat to the other ones. Mm-hmm. Again, we don't know the situations, right?
We don't.
But at the end of the day, you got kids, nigga. If you decided to have kids and you want them kids here, ain't no excuses, bro.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Like you should, like now, yeah, we know women can be nasty at times, but if it ain't that, I don't see no other way.
Yeah, I mean, I was trying to ration out my mind around it because like there's a lot of things that we don't know, and because of the way that he moves and the way that he thinks, like there's a lot of mystery. You know what I mean? So you're going off the public. It's crazy though, because like how all of this came up was because of the whole streamer university. One of his baby moms was just like, hey, you are on camera, which is really kind of spiteful if you really think about it. Like you're on camera with such and such, and that's supposed to be my friend, and then it comes out that, okay, this is your baby mom's. To me, I just don't understand the allure of us being in their business. If he is a deadbeat, obviously you gotta hold him accountable. But for me personally, if a nigga don't want you to know about his kids,
who cares?
Who cares, bro?
I ain't gonna lie. Right now, we're probably at the height of being in people's business. So many Haley Bailey and DDG.
That shit sad, bro.
Tiana Taylor, Iman, like Shepard. It's
Pat Poose
DDG, Pat Poose and Remy. It's so much, bro. I don't care. I don't want to know y'all niggas' business. I think we're at that height at being in people's business right now.
You know what that is, though?
Get it off the internet.
I have a notion in my mind. I've said this for a long time, bro. My mindset as to why we are so caught on negativity in other people's lives.
What is it? The universe got lemonade?
No.
The universe is in lemonade right now?
Gatorade.
The universe
is Mercury and Gatorade?
Right.
Nah.
Is Mercury in the Gatorade? Like, is that what it is? Like,
I really feel like, though, that people look at it this way because they want us they're so invested in other people's lives because it keeps them from looking at their own. And if I can see negativity at that level, then it reminds me that I'm human and I don't have to try to pursue a level of greatness. Now, that might be thinking way outside the box.
Yeah, you're giving these niggas too much credit.
It is, though, but I'm telling you.
I don't think people are that educated enough to have that thought of, yeah, man, I don't want to see me for this person, so I'm going to look at that. Like, that's an extreme level
bro, I do think, though, bro, because, like, I really think
You know how
this is true.
self-aware you got to be? To be that ignorant, you got to be self-aware. Think about it.
I think they're just that ignorant. Like, it's just like, bro, you love negativity so much because you don't want to look at yourself. It may be subconsciously, bro.
Okay.
But it's like, all right, cool. Like, I can focus on, like, sin always looks worse on the next person. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm looking at and nitpicking at all this stuff because now it brings the allure down. So it's like, you're human, so you're bringing them down and this, that, and the third. Where it's just like, bro, we know that they're not perfect. You know what I'm saying? But people constantly, it's a whole different conversation though. People constantly want to point out the flaws in people because it makes sure that they're human because it makes you feel better about yourself. In my mind, it makes you feel better about yourself. I might be wrong, but that's my perspective.
You know my perspective. My perspective be so simple.
Niggas be haters.
Nah, people just be weird.
Yeah.
Like, y'all niggas is just weird. Like, get a life, nigga. Like, but honestly, it's a double-edged sword. Because if all these people have lives, we wouldn't have a career. That's simple. Like, so do you really want them to? And that, I think I said it before. People always want to say like that Miss that pageant. What is it? Miss America pageant answer. World peace. You don't want people to grow.
No, you know.
I don't want y'all niggas to grow, respectfully. Because if you grow, I don't have a job. I'm joking.
Being toxic is crazy.
No, I'm joking, but think about it, bro. If everybody had a life, IRL content wouldn't exist. If everybody have a life, the shade room wouldn't exist. It would be millions of dollars. News wouldn't exist.
If everybody was a leader, nobody would have a job.
Nobody would have a job. So
Yeah.
we sit up here and spill this bullshit all we want. I want everybody to be better. I want everybody. No, you don't. Because if you thought about it for real, if everybody been better, a lot of these microphones would be obsolete. A lot of these cameras wouldn't exist. We wouldn't have podcasts. We wouldn't have radio. We wouldn't have anything. Because niggas wouldn't care. And if niggas ain't care, then who consuming the content?
It's a double-edged sword for real.
So y'all keep talking, like, so when I say the real, niggas look at me like, oh, this nigga, hey, he's toxic. I'm speaking realistically, nigga. Because if everybody did better, where would we be?
Oh my God. What would we be talking about?
Nothing. Because niggas wouldn't give a damn about our opinions.
There's nothing to talk about because everybody's already, yeah. Well,
don't do better.
Well, thank you because now we got to be 1% better. That's why we had to be 1% better.
We say do better. No, now I want the world to be 1% dumber.
Oh,
let's change the podcast. Be 1% dumber so we can keep growing.
1% better podcast. Alexander the Blanc.
I'm Mr. J Hill, guys.
Peace. We out.
We out.